Okay, welcome in. Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. Let's talk some college basketball on this Friday afternoon, May 31st, as we had the deadline for college players who tested the NBA waters, had to make up their decision or make their decision to pull out of the draft and come back to school or stay in the draft. And obviously, we had a ton of guys facing that decision. In fact, there were, according to Stadium's Jeff Goodman, 177 underclassmen declared early this year, and ended up with 87 keeping their names in the draft. 88 came back to school, and there were two non-D1 players whose decisions remain unknown. Let's talk about the defending national champions, the Virginia Cavaliers. Late Wednesday night, Mamadi Diakite, who made the buzzer beater to force overtime in the Elite Eight against Purdue, he decided to come back to school. Unfortunately for the Cavs, or the Who's, whichever you prefer, DeAndre Hunter obviously left. He's going to be a lottery pick. And Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome, who are probably going to be maybe late first, but more likely early, maybe even mid-second round, they stayed in. But UVA has 8-1 odds to win the national title, along with Michigan State and Kentucky, and Duke is the 7-1 chalk. Now, Duke obviously lost their big three, Zion, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, who all three likely lottery picks, certainly Barrett and Zion in the top five. And they lost Marcus Bolden as well, but they've got a trio of five-star recruits, and Duke will be really good again next year. Couple of guys of note, this wasn't really a deadline. Well, with Kerry Blackshear it was, but for the Hauser brothers from Marquette, two very good players, two starters on an NCAA tournament team. I believe Marquette was like a 4 or a 5 seed in the tournament, got ousted quick, however. But so Sam Hauser, he's the older one. He was a second team all Big East selection this past year, 14.9 points per game, 7.2 rebounds. He's a career 44% shooter from three-point land. He elected to go to Virginia. However, he does have to sit one to play one. Now, his younger brother, Joey went to Michigan State. He sits one and then plays 2 or 3. I don't have my basketball magazine out. I think he plays 3. I think he was a freshman this past year. Now, here's the deal with Kerry Blackshear. Big-time player for Virginia Tech. Obviously helped them in the Sweet 16, averaging 14.9 points and 7.5 rebounds per game. So he reportedly went really back and forth on his decision. It was either go overseas or come back and play for Florida or Kentucky. They're considered the two favorites. Perhaps A&M with Buzz Williams might maybe have a little bit of a shot, long shot, but it's considered doubtful. Blackshear is a big-time player. He will make Florida or Kentucky a Final Four team, whoever gets him, or a legit Final Four contender is what I should say. All right, moving on. So Kansas and Louisville and Xavier really fared well. Xavier got all 4 of its players that declared early to come back. That's huge for the Musketeers. Louisville, they got Stephen Enich and Jordan Nwora to come back. They've got the number 11 ranked recruiting class coming in. Nwora is listed number 20 in NBADraft.net's 2020 mock, and Enich is listed as going number 24. Big loss for Auburn as Jared Harper, who will likely go undrafted, the super fast point guard who had a hell of a late season run, especially in the tournament. He was terrific. He elected to stay in the draft. Would have loved to seen him come back to school, but I don't know his family background. If it's time to get paid, it's time to get paid. I get it. Auburn has 30-1 odds to win the national championship, and they got a junior college signee. Saw that on Twitter earlier today as well. Tennessee, big loss, Jordan Bone. Grant Williams had decided a week or two ago he was going to stay in the draft, even though he's probably going to not go until early second round. I guess there's a chance he might go late first, but the updated mock drafts seem to indicate he's going to be more like an early second, and he's kind of a tweener, kind of undersized for a power forward, maybe not versatile enough to play the three. We'll see. Hell of a college basketball player, though. But Jordan Bone, now he's probably going to be a mid-second rounder too, but they had hopes he might come back. Did not happen. A team kind of off the grid, but's got a great recruiting class coming in, including Anthony Edwards. That's my cousin. No, I'm kidding. No relation. Number one player in America, projected number one pick in the 2020 NBA draft. He will be in Athens in the fall, along with Rayshawn Hammond's coming back, who's projected to go early second round at NBADraft.net's latest mock for the 2020 draft. So they've got Hammonds, Anthony Edwards. They've got the streaky three-point shooter from Bainbridge, Georgia, 20 minutes away from where I grew up. They had Edwards, Hammonds, Crump, and they've got four-star recruits coming in as freshmen, and they hope to have star Nicholas Claxton. I call him Baby Charles. His dad, Charles Claxton, I saw him play in high school, Miami Carroll City. Saw him play for Georgia for 4 years. His son, Nicholas, built a lot different, a little skinnier. Charles was a big, muscular man. But Claxton is skilled, can shoot the three. And had he come back, Georgia was really going to be a factor in the SEC. But he elected to stay in the draft. I'm not saying it's a bad decision. He's probably going to go late first round. But that was a killer for Tom Crean. That stunk for them. The Gators, Andrew Nimhard made the Gators and Gator fans like yours truly sweat it out, but elected to return. That's huge. Again, if UF can get Blackshear, they're going to be in really good shape with Keontae Johnson coming back, Noah Locke, Dante Bassett, and Scotty Lewis projected number 13 in NBA Draft.net's 2020 mock, and then Scotty Lewis and Trey Mann, another 5-star coming in, and a high 4-star in Omar Payne coming to join Mike White's program. South Carolina got A.J. Lawson to come back. He's projected number 16 in the 2020 mock at NBADraft.net. So it's big for them. And Rick Stansbury, he during his long tenure at Mississippi State, he often got hosed when it came to early entrants in the NBA draft. In fact, 3 guys that were signed up to come to Starkville, Monte Ellis, Travis Outlaw, and Jonathan Bender, were all Mississippi State LOIs signed on the way, and then at the last minute decided to go straight to the NBA. Well, Stansbury perhaps was due a little luck, and he got some with Western Kentucky's Charles Bassey, a projected late first-round pick, decided to come back to school, changed his mind at the last minute. Rick Stansbury, last-minute mind change? NCAA is busy in Baton Rouge. Anyhow, Alabama's Tevin Mack, TCU's Jalen Fisher, and Kansas's Quentin Grimes elected to come back to school, but all will seek grad transfers. Caleb Wesson came back to Ohio State, big for the Buckeyes. Anthony Cowan, I should say, from Maryland, decided to come back. That's big. And Kansas, Silvio De Souza has been reinstated eligibility-wise, and he came back to school along with Devin Dotson. That's huge for Bill Self's team that's been striking out a little bit on the recruiting trail of late. Okay. I think that gets you pretty much up to date. I'll throw out one more with Gonzaga. Killian Tilly decided to come back. That's big for Mark Few. He's got a really good recruiting class coming in, ranked 3rd in the nation at Rivals.com. All right, so you're caught up on college hoops. I'm Brian Edwards of MajorWager.com. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. Over and out.